Okay, great. Thank you very much for attending today. This is Michael Jansen, Chairman and CEO of Cityzenith, and today I will be talking about our vision for 2022. As many of you know, Cityzenith is on a mission to decarbonize the world's cities one building at a time. Welcome to all of the existing shareholders of ours who are in attendance today. We had hundreds of registrations and we're expecting a couple of hundred attendees. Thank you all, the new investors, as well as people from around the industry, clients, partners, interested parties, digital twin enthusiasts, etc. Thank you for coming. So as this presentation is designed for those who know a lot about us and those maybe who don't know as much, let me begin by introducing what urban digital twins are. Urban digital twins are virtual replicas of physical cities and all of the things inside them. Buildings, transport networks, infrastructure, etc. that are connected to a central virtual model we call the digital twin, which is in turn connected to all of the data in and around those functions. So digital twins get used for everything from optimizing the planning process to optimizing construction and ultimately the ongoing operations and maintenance and even emissions monitoring of large building projects, infrastructure in cities. I'm going to play an introductory video for you right now that will give you a nice introduction, an overview to what urban digital twins specifically are.
So, what are urban digital twins? Urban digital twins are digital representations of the physical built environment in our cities, including transport networks, buildings, and infrastructure. Imagine walking through a virtual representation of your city on your computer where digital objects, roads, streetlights, bridges, buildings, are connected to thousands of data points from hundreds of city systems. As you move from block to block, the urban digital twin is hard at work behind the scenes, using data to optimize the interplay of buildings, infrastructure, vehicles, and people to reduce costs, improve mobility, eliminate emissions, and ensure public safety. That image in your mind is an urban digital twin at work. They empower us to see, analyze, and predict trends and events in cities using data like never before. Here at Cityzenith, our Smart World OS urban digital twin platform is purpose-built for the people who design, build, and run large projects in cities. Property owners, facilities managers, infrastructure operators, energy firms, city planners, and governments leverage Smart World's data and analytics to design and develop their projects far more efficiently and for less money than other tools allow. A recent report from ABI Research revealed that urban digital twins will save cities a whopping $280 billion in planning, development, and operating costs over the next few years. Smart World OS consolidates data from a multitude of stakeholders in a single, easy-to-use, interactive 3D platform. No platform in the market can do what ours does today. Our users report dramatic results. Operating costs cut by 35%, productivity improved by 20%, emissions reduced by 50 to 100%. We've created digital twins for airports, seaports, rail infrastructure, mixed-use building projects, and even entire cities all over the world. To learn more about how your company can work with Cityzenith, contact us at info@cityzenith.com or call us at 312-883-5554. We welcome you to join us.
So that was a high-level overview of urban digital twins themselves. You've heard that this is, I believe, ABI Research results suggesting that operating costs can be reduced by as much as 35% inside of major infrastructure and physical building assets, productivity gains from work order management, maintenance, and even cutting emissions, something of terrific interest to us, by 50 to 100% by leveraging digital twins. So as a worldwide trend, Forbes predicted that by the year 2026, 500 major cities around the world will be leveraging digital twins for daily operations. In terms of numbers and market size, I believe ABI Research has revealed that the market itself over the next 5 years is projected to save or the technology is projected to save $280 billion in city planning, development, and operating costs when deployed across cities. And the technology, sales and services, product and services market for the last couple of years started off about 1 point something billion, was 3 billion year before, and is projected to grow to almost 50 billion over the next few years. So the substantial growth of 58% or more year-on-year compounded annual growth, which is amazing for any industry. Now, there are different types of digital twins. You might have read about digital twins that focus on manufacturing or on oil and gas, even on other sectors. We focus on the building sector, and there's a couple of reasons for that. The buildings produce 50 to 70% of all emissions in cities. They are just massively inefficient. 30 to 39% actually of total emissions globally come from buildings, and about 3/4 of all of our buildings in the United States need to be retrofit to achieve net zero goals. And it's interesting that many cities now, and I'll get to this, have begun to actually pass legislation over the last 12 months requiring building owners to effectively clean up their act. So the situation as it stands today is that buildings are the world's largest polluters, but yet only 1.7% of all commercial office buildings in the United States are actually green, and less than 0.01% of all buildings are technically net zero. So net zero is kind of an interesting thing. You're probably asking what that means. So how do you actually achieve something called net zero emissions? How can something actually be net zero? Well, there's a couple of things. Buildings obviously consume a tremendous amount of energy. You just heard that. That's largely its sources are oil and natural gas. And the first thing one does to improve one's energy footprint is install smart building and monitoring technology, energy management technology, to reduce the way in which the building consumes energy dramatically, from everything 15 to 30+% almost right off the bat. Additionally, on-site and off-site renewable energy solutions, for example, solar panels, but yes, solar glass, geothermal, other things like that, can provide some or all, in most cases, some of a major building's energy need. Those need to be factored in. And then whatever residual dependence on fossil fuels is left over, that to get to actual net zero, one buys carbon offsets from any highly qualified good source, which then actually brings you from whatever your positive dependency was down to zero. All that has to be continuously monitored and recertified actually every year. So there are a lot of things driving this. We know that we have the infrastructure bill in the US. That's a biggie. We know that we have a new $200 billion plus green building retrofit market in the US alone, and it's a global market. It's a global market. Because if you look to the left of this slide, 1,000 cities in the last just couple of years have committed to achieving net zero emissions by 2050. That's a huge trend. It was a much smaller number even 12 months ago. And 6 American cities have recently passed legislation mandating that building owners reduce emissions to zero, including the city of St. Louis, the city of Boston, the city of New York, Washington, D.C., city of Ithaca actually announced that the entire city in upstate New York will go net zero. So this is an important trend, and they're specifically targeting the building owners because in cities, buildings are 75 to 80% of emissions. That's why their buildings are so important to cities, and therefore counties, states, and a country being able to achieve actual net zero emissions. The reason it doesn't happen is that it's expensive. It involves retrofitting a building, or it can. That can cost anywhere from $2 to $7 per square foot. And for those of you who aren't familiar with per square foot rates, the average commercial office building owner in the United States spends about $2.10 to $2.14 per square foot for energy every year. So this is a big number. It works out to about $600,000 per 100,000 feet. And the payback period for something like this ends up being 10 to 15 years. And when the people at the top of the real estate pyramid, the owners, look at this, they need to see payback within, ideally, 3 years, definitely within 5 years. So there's an internal rate of return of 30% or more. And it just doesn't happen. I mean, some of the wealthiest large companies can afford to do this, but the vast majority of building owners end up struggling. So then less than 1% of all annual operating profits today from buildings is actually reinvested in green building retrofits, and that needs to triple to hit our SDG, Paris climate, and other new net zero policy changes. So why not? I mean, green building retrofit consulting is kind of a fragmented, chaotic, tribal craft, sorry, but it's comprised of architects, engineers, sustainability experts, et cetera, using thousands of different types of tools with no real standards behind them, behind the approach. And the result is that, I mean, it can be done, but it's very manual, and owners are hesitant to commit the kind of outlay at scale because of all the uncertainty that's associated with that. So because there are these too many divergent tools, software tools needed to kind of effectively confirm the net zero calculus, we made it easy by creating a single point of view Google Earth-like platform that could integrate all these different important tools across the life cycle of the building asset, inside and outside the building, electricity consumption, temperature data, the things that matter to energy performance and emissions, into the same tool. We call that platform Smart World. Urban digital twins and Smart World being what we think is one of the best examples of an urban digital twin out there are in fact the uniquely correct answer to solving this type of problem with emissions in cities and buildings, because what they're good at is aggregating and simulating and managing complex solutions, really of any kind, whether it's climate related or security related or something else, at predicting energy consumption and the corresponding financial outcomes at scale, which drives down capital risk. What we do is we deploy multiple parallel strategies in our digital twins to tell the building owners, you should go with this energy management system, this renewable structure, and this source for your carbon offsets. And that will get you to net zero. And then we'll monitor that and continuously re-simulate, adjust, and recertify every year so you can maintain compliance with those offsets. That's the beautiful part. And I'll get to some interesting partners that we have in this space coming up. So that allows us to monitor the ongoing performance of net zero buildings and simulate everything I just mentioned, for everything from dropping operating costs to annual compliance reporting, which is essential for maintaining actual net zero status. So we've worked with property owners, facilities managers, infrastructure operators, energy firms, architects, engineers, planners, governments all over the world over the course of the last several years, executing about 15 sizable enough, large-scale urban digital twin projects across 3 different versions of the software. The most recent called Smart World OS. And we've done large projects, airports, seaports, infrastructure projects, mixed-use commercial things like you've seen, large master developments, universities, real estate portfolios, some work with utilities here in Chicago, smart districts, even entire cities. So what we've learned is how to evolve this product over the course of maturing with these major digital twin projects about what makes us special. We are the most advanced digital twin product in the building industry. There are others out there, but in this industry, we believe that we're the most advanced. We're definitely the most flexible and most scalable as well, which is why we tend to get chosen for large projects, because we can sit in between a lot of other large players and make everything work together. We work across the entire life cycle, from operational to compliance management. And we have this emerging twin app community, or applications that plug into Smart World, just kind of like apps here, little visual, plug into your smartphone and do different things. Well, we have apps that are going to do the same thing in Smart World, but rather than doing, getting you, what do I have here? Some news or some music, you will be able to run simulations on housing cost scenarios and look at things like optimized traffic flow, or just get data visualized, etc. We have some major industry partners now. The World Economic Forum, I believe people know, is one of the programs we were honored to join recently. We're in their Net Zero Carbon Cities program, and coming up later in February, about a month from now, I believe it's the next webinar, we are doing it jointly with the World Economic Forum and some bigwigs from Accenture and from Schneider, all the biggest folks in net zero cities. So by all means, if you can attend the next webinar, please do. The Digital Twin Consortium, we work with the 2030 District Group. We work also with various chapters of the Green Building Council. So, our business model, when we go into speak with customers, is really threefold. We do large-scale digital twin projects, like you've seen me mention some. We form distribution partnerships with large companies that take our product and perhaps customize it and distribute it through their channels. And we have something we call our Smart World OS Net Zero module platform. This is the kind of baked in one-size-fits-all module of Smart World that we're rolling out to any building owner anywhere that helps them get to net zero kind of conveniently and cheaply. And I'll be talking a little bit about that in a second in Las Vegas. So our current projects, we've got a bunch happening right now, and I'll go into the pipeline in a bit, but I just mentioned Las Vegas. I'm going to show you a video introducing that right away, which I think will be super exciting. We have, of course, a major project in Phoenix, a digital twin project. Amazon and the Downtown Phoenix Partnership are big partners there. And the focus of that project will again be energy related, but specifically housing and heat and the impact that one has on the other. It's fascinating. I think it would be very relevant for most American cities. And we believe that the decarbonizing of buildings in Phoenix actually can help not only change the quality of life, but change the economics of neighborhoods that are struggling. We'll get into that later too. And of course, we are doing a major residential project off of the coast of southwestern Saudi Arabia in Jeddah called the Lamana Tower, a very high-end kind of one unit per floor type of developments that we're very proud to be a part of. Let me see if I can walk us right into the Las Vegas video and show you what some of our latest work in Las Vegas looks like.
39% of global carbon emissions come from the buildings in our cities. Currently, less than 2% of America's 6 million office buildings are green. What if we could help buildings, infrastructure, and cities reach net zero faster, without risk, and at a fraction of the cost? At Cityzenith, that's what we do. Our Smart World platform leverages cutting-edge AI to automate the complex decarbonization process. Powerful 3D visualization tools help clients analyze and predict performance in real time, simplifying financial and operational decision-making. Thanks to our partnership with the City of Las Vegas, our Las Vegas Digital Twin features an unprecedented level of real-time sustainability data. Outside buildings, sensors monitor complex metrics, feeding data continuously into Smart World, including information about traffic density and air quality, helping planners, developers, and city officials make Las Vegas a more efficient, sustainable, and enjoyable city. Inside buildings, Smart World OS allows users to optimize their operational and energy systems, ensuring occupants enjoy a high-quality environment. Cityzenith's new Smart World OS Net Zero module continuously monitors clients' energy consumption, tenant behavior, and renewables performance, making it simple to purchase high-quality, verified carbon offsets to ensure properties maintain net zero compliance, providing the only true end-to-end net zero solution for building owners today. Cityzenith. We pledge to make the built environment a cleaner, safer, more efficient place for all. Join us.
Okay, very good. Thank you for tolerating that lovely video, which we're very proud of, and we recently showed at the Computer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Wonderful opportunity that we had. So some of our completed projects that I referenced earlier include something for Cushman and Wakefield in New York that we did with the Grand Hyatt, which was one of our earlier exercises in consolidating different building systems into a single interface. That we then worked with W.S. Atkins and Glenn O'Rourke and Network Rail on a very impressive high-speed rail project that ran from Oxford to Cambridge called the East-West Rail Project. And they were using a digital twin to aggregate massive amounts of project site data to make it as easy as possible for engineers to design with real-time information. It was fabulous. We were also able to update for the first time, this is a few years ago, 3D BIM models in the software so engineers could really work in real time inside Smart World. It was fascinating. And then we also did a project, a new build, an entire city for 3 million in South India with Sir Lord Norman Foster of England, a very prestigious practice, which we were used in that case to help simulate the impact of various architectural housing design schemes in a single district of the city with a view to lowering thermal temperatures, which was fascinating. We have new partnerships to talk about. Of course, at an industry level, we have the World Economic Forum. Please stay in touch and attend the next one we have coming up in February. It's a very fantastic group. The NetZero Carbon Cities program has something like almost 300 experts in the space that we have access to over the course of these 2 years. And we intend to serve up our Clean Cities, Clean Future initiative as a project for WEF. And this is part of our, what we're doing to help get smarter and move the platform around from city to city all over the world. Of course, we're also working with the Digital Twin Consortium, which is a great group of 300, 400 companies, all focused on this space, doing projects and collaborating. In terms of commercial partnerships, we are now a partner of Amazon. We're about to formalize all of that. We're completing just a few things. This is going to enable Amazon to sell Cityzenith Smart World products through its 60 global sales channels around the world. The first project targeted for the Amazon Cityzenith joint solution is Amazon's new HQ2, which is their new headquarters. I'm sure every American's heard about, probably people who aren't also. That was finally awarded to Alexandria, just outside of DC. So Amazon is going to be a huge partner for us. We're super happy to have them with us. Big deal. So, you know, the platform itself, we talk about the platform approach. We say projects, we say partnerships, we say platform. Smart World OS, this NetZero module for building owners, that was something we're creating to kind of make more of a mass product that's easier for a single building owner without a lot of sophistication to plug and play and then be able to get a lot of value from. And this is one of the products that we're pushing through the Clean Cities, Clean Future initiative, where we really want to go out to any building owner of any size and say you can also win big by being a part of this. And we'll talk more about that also a little bit later. I mentioned several times this campaign, which is called Clean Cities, Clean Future. We've announced several cities. We've announced, I believe, New York. We subsequently announced after New York, Las Vegas. We have not formally announced Phoenix in a big way, but we did in a less formal way, bigger announcement to come later this quarter as it's expected. And also Los Angeles now we signed, which will become an announcement that comes up soon as well. So let me walk you through some of the videos, or actually it became a television commercial that we created to support this campaign that we made put out on airwaves around the United States. It was run on CNN and MSNBC, everywhere, for about 3 months.
In just a few decades, 68% of us will be living in cities. But did you know that cities account for 3/4 of all global CO2 emissions, and population growth and poor planning is making the problem worse? With our transformational AI software platform, we pledge to try and make the world's most polluted cities more sustainable, clean, and efficient, because we want to build a better future for our children, and we want you to join us.
So the campaign seeks to do this in about 10 or 15 cities, and we got mentioned over 1,000 times across international media in Cities Today, on CNBC, and Forbes, in Informed Infrastructure and MSNBC. It was just a massive success. And a part of it is a compelling offering. We're offering building owners for a 10 cent per square foot investment in our Smart World OS NetZero module, a $3 to $5 per square foot savings over 3 to 5 years. And this comes from a variety of places: optimization of tools, maximal use of renewable, maximal use of available incentives, state, local, and federal, which can range from 60 cents a foot to $2 a foot, by leveraging digital twin technology and simulation technology to qualify for these incentive savings. And that's how it works. And keep in mind, there's 100 billion square feet of office space in the US market alone. When it comes to financial goals that we have, we don't have what we call projections, because they're not allowed by the SEC. And if you're an investor, you know that Regulation A+ companies don't have projections. We can talk about goals that we have from a revenue perspective. So for this year, we see about $2.5, maybe $3 million in revenue coming up in 2022. That's going to grow rapidly over 5 years to about 150 million in revenue, as we have a goal to see it happen. And so when you're talking about the size of the opportunity, keep in mind these goals that the company has. The pipeline already for this year of projects includes work with the City of Boston, with the Illinois Green Alliance. In Los Angeles, the very first building that we are looking at to decarbonize from end to end is actually the Museum of Contemporary Art. So that should be a huge win for us. We even have a Formula One project looming in Eastern Europe that we're going to get involved in. So we've got a great pipeline going into 2022. And as far as the cities go, I mentioned we've already done Las Vegas and talked about them. Las Vegas is now moving into phase 2. We've actually shown the video and the initial stand-up at the digital twin to the partners, and now we'll begin to connect with building owners in Las Vegas to roll out the second phase of that, which gets into the end-to-end decarbonizing piece. Phoenix, I just mentioned, is also gathering some steam lately. More and more partners from ASU and Harvard actually has what's called a KIC, Center of Excellence, involved in this. Amazon itself, Downtown Phoenix Partnership, and this one is again beginning to take shape along similar lines. Our vision for the future of this is that we'll have about 10 cities under contract this year, but most importantly, we target as many as 50 buildings, either committed or with letters of intent by the end of the year. It's a very, very bold target. That's going to grow for us over the next several years to 100 cities and 1,000 buildings and 300 cities and 10,000 buildings within 4 to 5 years, which would be, if we did that many buildings, we would do as many net zero buildings as exist in the entire world today. So I think it's a very reasonable goal for us, but I think we can do it. So we say, well, let's work together. We've become a really great collaborator, and those of you who are interested in learning more about how to work with Cityzenith, just feel free to reach out to us. Go to the website, hit contact, and you can click and see. Those of you who are interested in investing, you can go to the website and click on the invest button, and there you'll see how to do that. There is a 4-step invest sequence, bits of information that you have to enter in order to complete your investments. So we're right on the half hour. This is terrific. I'm going to pause for a second here and take some questions, and I generally tend to take them. This is a time when If you have any questions of me, you can put those into the chat channel, and I will answer them in the order in which they were asked. Again, there's a lot of you turned up today, so thank you very much. In fact, the last webinar we had 1,200 registrants, which was really phenomenal. I think we were close to 400 this time. So these have been a huge success. You're probably thinking, why did we only get Michael this time? He's had so many cool guests. He had the CIO of Las Vegas. He's got all these fancy World Economic Forum people on, some of the top people in the industry, and he just shows up himself today. Don't worry, it's coming in February. It won't just be me, it'll be everybody. So let me go through some of these and just thank all the people who joined from all over the world and see if I can answer some of these questions as I've seen them. A question from Michael. If Smart World is a platform for apps, does this mean users need to figure out which ones to use to learn the savings opportunities? Does the platform provide an integrated set of apps to perform each aspect from data analysis to financing upgrades? So the NetZero module is a prefix. It's a set offering that comprised of a few apps that do effectively one thing. And that has been the success of it because we've made the process very simple and replicable as a result. Question from Delft. Does Cityzenith design and implement projects that the initial study identifies, like changing lighting or whatever it might be? The answer is yes. Part of the digital twin process, almost every digital twin undertaking begins with something called an assessment. And we use what we call smart building expert partners in this that will go into the building. They'll understand everything that's available in terms of data, all the performance points, and they'll do an assessment, both from a cybersecurity perspective as well as an ops and energy perspective, which will include a recommendation ultimately that will involve every piece of that. From the green building retrofit includes myriads of things, including changing light bulbs, but it can be as big as changing out chiller plants and boiler equipment, and which have become inefficient, AC equipment, etc. So yeah, people do that. Yes, thank you, Paul. Very exciting names involved with the Cityzenith mission. Yeah, we have been doing really terrific for a company of our size. We think this is going to be terrific. Question from Kevin: what's the project in the city of Boston? There, it's with the called Built Environment Plus. Built Environment Plus it's not a project; it's a group that we're dealing with to partner with to do projects in Boston. The project that came through Boston actually wasn't in Boston. The company is based in Boston, and they are a technology program manager for large-scale events, and they are the ones with the Formula One project. The actual Formula One project is in Eastern Europe. Question about how carbon works with your tech stack. So we can calculate emissions based upon consumption and other factors needed to calculate emissions. And we have partners that provide high quality carbon emissions to effectively offset that building to zero. So that's how the end-to-end solution comes in. We'll be making an announcement about that over the next couple of months. The digital twin is used not only to assess how to do that, but actually to buy the offsets through the partner. So it's fascinating. You can do it all at the same time. You will continuously recalculate your ongoing emissions needs, in fact, over the life cycle of the building. What do carbon credit offsets have in Cityzenith's planning? Big, because our carbon offset partners can leverage carbon offset, the future value of carbon offsets, to pay for the retrofits. So Cityzenith plus the carbon offset partner equals free net zero building. One more time. Cityzenith plus carbon offset partner equals free, that means no money to the building owner, net zero building. And as you all know, net zero buildings are much cheaper to operate and have a substantially higher asset value because of the lowered operating costs, the way in which they not only leverage public capital but avoid taxation and attract higher rentals. I believe it's 4 to 6% now is what tenants are paying to be in a green building versus a standard building. What building projects will you likely be involved with in LA? It's going to be most likely the Museum of Contemporary Art in Los Angeles, working with the Los Angeles Better Buildings Challenge people. That's going to be the hub, and it's a super fantastic project that will be starting soon. Francisco, I believe you will exceed your goals this year and every year moving forward. You know, the thing is, Francisco, is that the one thing I'm going to have to be careful about is acquisition interest. You're getting so much acquisition interest right now that, you know, people are starting to look at us and throw big numbers at us. So we're going to have to make sure that we, thank you very much for making that wonderful, kind comment. Our goal is to grow this business very aggressively. And I cannot wait to do that throughout 2022. We have a serious investor interest from 3 parties right now, each of whom is capable of writing a $50 to $100 million check. One more time. We have advanced to the final stages of discussion with 3 major parties, each of whom is capable of writing a $50 to $100 million check. That is how big Cityzenith can get, you know, if we do our job. Question from Joyce: what security is in place to protect the city's information from malicious intent by others? Well, Joyce, cities make their data public these days. If you go to opendata.gov, you learn all about city public data programs. Anybody can access city data now, Joyce. So we have very strict security protocols around the use of our software. It's a bit like Dropbox. You can't see anything that isn't in your folder, as it were. But public data being made public, or government data made public, started in about 2009, and it's 50 countries now. Question from Scott: are you looking at institutional investors or going public? Institutional strategic investors. You know, there are different kinds of money out there, Scott. Private equity, VC, strategic. For us, strategic. VC money is like going to Las Vegas. Back, it's going to, like, you know, not even Las Vegas, like a lousy gambling town, and throwing your money against the wall. Private equity money is bigger money than that and can be better, but it also can be more usurious. Strategic money tends to come with value other than just the cash, but access to markets, technology, like Amazon would be a great strategic investor, for example. Any plans of creating NFTs of Cityzenith projects? Not really. I don't want to get distracted with that. I'm sorry. We're going to make so much money off of carbon credits. I don't want to talk about NFTs. Question from Bonnie: when you say you're a partner with Amazon, is that for the upcoming project in Washington? Yes, there are 3 projects they have with us. It's not in Washington, it's in DC, in Alexandria. Doing these projects with them is aside from the channel partnership. This is doing work for Amazon corporate. Aside from that, they want to work with us to develop the product, to be able to sell it through their channels around the world. Those of you who don't know, we use the Amazon stack inside Smart World. So we've been friends with them for a very long time. Question from Declan: have you plans in Europe and Asia and around the cities? Yes, we certainly will. I think when the next round of major funding comes in, that'll be the plan. Those of you who don't know my background, in my 50s, I spent half of my life overseas. Yale undergrad, Cambridge grad in the UK, lived across Europe, and then moved to Asia for 24 years. Speak Hindi, speak Chinese. I grew 7 markets in India, from India to China, from Jeddah to Japan. My last company became the most successful 3D building information modeling services company to the AEC industry. It was backed by Sequoia Capital. I built that company from me and a desk and a phone in a dilapidated school building in central New Delhi in 2004 with about, I think, $3,000 to my name. By 2007, the company was worth $38 million. We were 400 people working in 5 buildings with Sequoia Capital as a lead investor. We were on CNN, CNBC, the BBC, and we were working for 25 of the top 50 architecture firms in the world. So roughly 12, 15 years ago, I made my name in the industry. And this is effectively my dream gig, which is taking everything I've learned across a career of pioneering software in the world's most complex projects and putting that into a product that cannot do that for anybody in the form of Smart World. Question from Peter: will more cities start therefore legislating building owners who don't follow this decarbonizing path? Yes, you can expect that all over the country, in fact. Question from Peter: so these strategic investors can bring deals, and yes, they can. They can bring, with 60 salespeople working at Amazon, they would have to bring $20 million and the deals just to do their projects. That's how big they are, Peter. That would be kind of the vision with them. Can you tell us a bit more about the Eastern European project? It's a Formula One racetrack in Hungary. And I can't tell you more about it because I'm under NDA, other than tell you it's really cool and they're going to work with us. You've mentioned a 7 to 10 times return on that investment. Do you see that increasing? We technically have a goal to have that. It could be any number. As you know, Lonnie, we can't guarantee anything about price, share price now or later. We can tell you what our goals are. I can provide the information to you about the market, the company, and the opportunities, and then the share price will go where it is. Yes, we have a goal to, over the next 5 years, to give our shareholders a 7 to 10x return. That is true. Any other questions for me? We're about 42 minutes in. I'll wait around for another couple of minutes and try to answer if there are. Again, I'll run through a couple of notes. If you're interested in investing or reinvesting, go to the website and click on invest and follow the sequence through there. If you're an existing shareholder, VStock is now in charge of your account again, and they should be sending out emails to all shareholders immediately with the status of your account. So if you have not heard from VStock, write to VStock, info@vstock.com. We were able to assess a lot of issues with different shareholders and get a lot of issues resolved. So we're super happy about that. Question from Francisco: I love the excitement in your voice. Your vision is shared here and felt entirely. I invested 3 different times in Cityzenith. Yeah, thank you so much. I really think it's a special time, Francisco, because we have, from where we were to looking at major institutional investment for this year itself, and being able to scale this company to taking it where I'd like to be able to take it. I think, yeah, this is the year for us really for that. So, okay, are you hiring or growing the company in 2022? We're hiring like mad. We just hired as our new director of engineering, a gentleman named Sam Kim. Sam was the head of engineering at Jansen Controls, in charge of their open blue platform, very much like Smart World. He is an absolute rock star. We've started to get these kinds of people that, I mean, either they go to SpaceX, Google, DARPA, or us. I mean, the kind of people coming to us these days, I can't even believe it. I wonder if I'm a smart enough CEO to be able to be a CEO to the level of people who are coming to us at Cityzenith. And so we're on a hiring spree right now. Is there any opportunity for anyone to help to sell the software in their area? Yes. If you write to Philip Demotti, p.demotti, D-E-M-O-T-T-I-E, at cityzenith.com, he'll help you. Will you be closing out shortly due to these strategic investors? Yeah, I think with the, I can't tell you that we are closing because we haven't announced anything. But I can tell you that as soon as we confirm with 1 or 2, 3, or all of these, it will be at that time immediately closing the round, because once major capital comes in, they tend to want to there's no need to continue to crowdfund at that point. And so, in fact, they have made it a requirement that we close the round down. So I'm not this kind of guy who is going, gone kind of guy, you know, but just, you know, keep that in mind, folks. When something like this happened before a year and a half ago, 300 shareholders wrote to me and said, you didn't tell me that this was going to happen. I'm like, I can't. I can give you the information. I can give you all the good news. If you cannot deduce what that could mean, I can't go ahead and tell you anything in advance. It's for you, for a shareholder, to take the information provided to you and decide based upon what we're doing. But as you guys know, we're super transparent and we almost over communicate, and we definitely carry our shareholders along for the ride. Terrific. I think we're going to wrap up here, everybody. This was, oops, hang on a second. One came in from Michael. Are you approaching the 1,000 cities that have taken net zero pledges? And if yes, they're all 1,000 cities? No, not yet, but eventually, yes. We are taking on the cities in the states that have specifically focused on or have passed legislation requiring building owners to eliminate emissions. So the 5 or 6 cities I mentioned during my presentation are the priority cities there because there's a mandate in place. Will we go to those 1,000 cities? As I mentioned in the presentation again, Michael, that's the 5-year goal. So by 2027, I hope we do. I would love to be in 1,000 cities in 5 years. I wanted to thank everybody for attending. This was a tremendous opportunity to catch up. We had a bunch of folks, over 100 attend. Very, very pleased. You know, the next webinar is coming up in a month. It's with the World Economic Forum, so it's a big deal. They're bringing in their net zero carbon cities leaders, which is the program that we are a part of, to talk about what they're doing at the big level. And they're also bringing in experts from Schneider Electric and one other, who are they? Accenture, to speak with us. And it's going to be a fabulously interesting panel. You always hear about this stuff from me, but hear about this now from some of the people who we're working with, who are doing this, you know, at a massive schedule. So I think please attend that meeting. You know, if you're interested, please do. I'm going to make one last comment here. William said it is a wise man that hires people wiser than himself. That's very true. And a humble one too. You know, a lot of my job is about making super good people work together and helping them to be empowered with whatever they need. You know, I'm that kind of CEO. When I bring someone out of Jansen Controls, or I bring somebody, you know, out of Lockheed Martin, you know, and I tell them you're going to have a better opportunity here, you know, I'm going to take care of them. I want them to have the tools that they need. So super happy about this. This is the way we're headed. Stay tuned for the news. And of course, you'll hear more in the days and weeks to come. Thanks, everyone. Wherever you are, have a great evening, great afternoon. Bye for now.